Hello, good morning and Merry Christmas. My name is Kayla Matthew. I am under Instagram, YouTube, and Etsy, Marvelous Mrs. Matthew, like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but obviously my last name is Matthew. I told one person my name and they were like, oh, wait, have you seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? And I was like, yes, that's why I did it, not just because I think I'm marvelous, but everyone should have that much self-confidence. So I'm going to try to make pajama pants for my family in half a day today, half a day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 days, because Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming, and usually I have much further along in the Christmas pajamas. When I was little, my mom made matching pajamas for my brothers and me every year. She made the pajama bottoms and the pajama tops. As we got older, she started just making the pajama bottoms because the pajama bottoms are so much easier than the pajama tops. The pajama tops, typically she would do like the collar, the button down, long sleeve. They were super cute, but they were more involved in the pants. And so as we got older, even like Quinn had them, we were engaged, I guess. So my husband got pajama pants to match all of us. So she did this even for her grown children up until maybe, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And then when my oldest was born, she made pajamas for her the first year. The second year, the first year's pajamas still fit. The next year is when I started sewing more, and I was like, I would like pajama pants for my husband, myself, and my daughter to all match. And so that's kind of like how this started. So it was me continuing our own family tradition, but also tradition within my, the family I grew up with. And then my mother-in-law also made them pajamas when they were little. She used to sew a lot. And I actually have the machine that she used to sew with. She doesn't sew anymore now. She crochets and makes all the things you can out of yarn. I had Christmas flannel. It was old from Joann's. So Joann's is closed. That's where Christmas flannel lives and breathes and apparently dies. I had some old Christmas flannel that my mom used 10 years ago, something like that. And I just wasn't in love with it. I'm using 4 different patterns for each family member. Sometimes the girls can use the same pattern, but so this is my baby's pattern. The cool thing about this one's from Etsy, and I'll link it. Obviously, I printed this on my printer and then taped it together. I cut out 24 months because she's very tall. And the cool thing about this pattern is that it's literally, you cut this out twice. So on the fold and then cut it out twice. So you have 2 that are mirrored, and one's a left leg and one's the right leg. It's super fast. So we love that. My oldest daughter, her pattern that I've made her the past 2 years is this one. And so I make these pants. Oh, and I have this little pocket from her dress that I just made her. And it was up into the gathered skirt, so it was really long, but you can tell like there's 2 little circles here. That's the part that your hand goes in. You would stitch down to there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold it over and then just make her some little inset side seam pockets. Just excited about that. So Dad's, Quinn's, is similar. So the first 2 years, so the first year I was pregnant, second year I was postpartum, so I just made this pattern for both of us. So it's a unisex, and so I made these. But it also doesn't have pockets, and my husband wanted pockets. Last year I downloaded a pocket pattern. I was really excited about it. I felt like it was better than the year before. I have tiny hands, and this was a pattern for a women's pocket. I didn't even think about that. So my husband, being the kindest man he is, I'm like, isn't the pocket great? And he's like, my hand's a little bigger than yours, so it's a little small. I was like, oh, I honestly did not even think about that. So anyway, so his should be pretty simple because I'm making his exactly the same as I made his the previous 2 years. And then lastly is my pattern. A very popular women's pattern called the Lane Pants by Sydney Graham. And the only alterations I have to make on that is I had made them shorts before. It's my first time making the full pants. and I have a short torso, long legs, so last time and everything seems to be high rise, but I like a mid rise, so I'm shortening the rise by 1.5 inches. That's relatively easy, but then you also have to make sure this has a separate waistband, so you have to make sure you also shorten the waistband by whatever, when you brought the waist down, whatever, it gets a little bit wider. Cool. So yeah, let's see if I can make these pajama pants in 3 days. Memory card ran out of memory when I was talking about the fabric. So there are not a lot of options for Christmas fabric this year, but then I found this online. It was expensive, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was $12 a yard. Typically, everyone waits till Joann's fabric is on sale and you can get their Christmas flannel for like sometimes $3 or $4, but usually $4 or $5, usually $5 or $6 dollars a yard. And I'm buying 9 yards, 3 for adults, and then 1.5 for kids, plus a little bit extra. But I do love this. I got it from Hawthorne Fabric. It's Riley Blake, and it feels like $12 flannel. So at least I got my money's worth. I have pinned the pajamas right sides together at the center seam and the back end seam. Yeah, what's it say? Center back, center front on the pattern. It says 3/8 inch. This pattern, I remember it running pretty big, so I'm gonna do 1/2 inch. It also makes it easier when I come in with my serger. So yes, I'm also super excited to use my serger with these because I got my serger during this calendar year, so I didn't have them for the pajamas last year. What we have, we're gonna splay them open. We did the center back, front back, and now we are going to pin the legs together. And once you do that, you see, then you're just doing the waistband and the pants. So let's do it, let's pin it. The sun is beaming in on my sewing area, so I'm not gonna show these steps. I have a helper today. It's December 19th at 1 o'clock. They do fit, she needs to roll them, but I'm gonna leave them like this, and then next year or throughout the winter, she's growing so tall. My baby is so tall. Anyway, so.
I'm tall now.
Yes, and Big Sissy's tall too. Okay, so now we're gonna do Big Sisters today.
Yeah, I'm a big sister, but I'm my sister's sister.
That's right, baby. So here are Big Sissies from last year. I had her put them on, and I need to make the rise 1 inch taller. I need to make them 3 inches longer. And then, as I said yesterday, I'm taking her pattern and I'm cutting it down the center so that I get a side seam, and then I'm making her pockets. Okay, we have the front of each leg and the back of each leg. Now we're going to attach them at the center seam. So this is the back and this is the front, and I have 2 legs. Pants, and now we are adding the pockets. So what you do, or what I'm doing, is 3 inches from the top, I'm adding my pocket, and I've been using a 1/2 inch seam allowance on these, so whatever seam allowance you're using for your side seam, do less than that. So if you're doing 5/8, you can do half. If you're doing half, do a 1/4 inch. And you need to do that on the front. This is the back.
No.
And this is the front. So for my oldest, this is where we are. So I will stitch up this seam and then serge it. When I sew, but I have pressed this seam open, clipped under the pockets so the pocket lays better, and then clipped up here too. I did that on both sides. Now what I'm actually going to do instead of the serger is I'm just going to get my pinking shears and trim up along here. I don't want to mess with I want this to have movement, and I don't want to take any chances to have I don't want to have all those serger strings. Okay, I want to show you how you do the pocket. So this is the front, and remember that this was clipped so that the pocket can move. So now we push it to the front because you don't want your pocket going to the back, you want to go into the front, right? Then I just put a pin in it, just the back side of the pin. Now, what I typically do is fold down 1/4 inch. This looks closer to a 1/2 inch, but that's fine. Fold it over a little bit. Then you're going to fold it over. I have 3/4 inch elastic, so then I usually add a little bit to that. So usually for 3/4 inch elastic, I then roll over 1 inch to make that casing. But I actually want it to, I want to tack down the pocket so that it doesn't flap around. So it's actually going to be closer to 1.5 inches. My plan and then I'll stitch all the way around, top stitch all the way around, and then I'll leave a little gap and I'll insert my elastic. The length is good, but the waist needs to be a little bit tighter. And it's easy because you haven't closed the casing in all the way. So she loved the pockets. Immediately she was like, they're good, they're good. It's like, the waist is falling off. My husband's pants are much longer than the cutting mat I have. So I'm gonna cut and then just like shift along. When you have a pattern, like you have these lines right here and you're supposed to cut it there and then add paper right there to make it longer. Okay, I have his waistband in. I tacked the pockets up a little bit more because I made his pocket really big. Now the hand hole was huge. And then I put his name in my machine to do this. You put his name in the waistband. Now I am just going to hem them. Dad's pants are done. Baby Sissy's pants are done. Big sister's pants are done.
Not yours.
But not mommy's. It's December 21st around noon. All those left are my pants. Pants need to get done today. Maybe tomorrow at the latest. Sorry, my daughters are playing, screaming in the background. Okay, so I stitched up the side seam, or up the middle leg like this, and then serge them, serge that seam, just turn them inside out to see that they look right. I wish I had timestamps for how long each of these steps are taken, because these pants should probably take, I don't know, 3 hours, but because I am stopping to take breaks, stopping to hang out with my kids, stopping because they're doing something. My husband is watching them, their dad is watching them, but like things happen, they come in and I'm like, no, you need to leave. Okay, lock the door. Now they're screaming at the door. And anyway, I feel like I should have a tagline that's like, this is sewing with little kids. They love it, they appreciate it, but it's crazy. And how I do it is I just fit it into every like little nook, which leaves me tired, but like I don't know how else you would do it. It is December 22nd at 3 o'clock. All that's left is to attach the waistband and insert the elastic, close the waistband, and then hem them. took out a little more than 2 inches, so for future reference, probably around 33 and a half to cut the elastic. It is still quite roomy, but I hate things tight on my stomach. And the length is really long. I'll hem them on the next step, and then we'll be done. All right, it is 4 minutes till 6 on the 22nd of December, and we're done. I'm gonna press this waistband down and then we're completely done. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I will keep making more sew-alongs. I'm hoping for a little fashion show, but we'll see if the family will cooperate.